Iran has to develop a strategic deterrence. The Europeans and the Americans have to know that Iran will come to negotiations, if it so chooses in its own interest, with having strategic deterrence. Strategic deterrence means having missiles, having a strategic navy. The one news item, which unfortunately I don't know why we don't report it enough, is that for the first time this week, the Revolutionary Guards officially declared that we have ICBM capabilities. We have intercontinental ballistic missile capability. The reality, if you look at the history of West Asia, is that Iran is the natural hegemon. It's been even declared as such by American strategic thinkers. If you look at the documents during the Nixon administration, as an example, if you look at all the documents that have been declassified over the decades, the Americans, the West, they themselves know that Iran is the natural hegemon, and all of this goes back to the idea that you have to starve Iranians so that they will stop, taking their rightful place in history and in this region. And there is no way of somehow coming to an agreement about this. Either the US is the hegemon or Iran is the hegemon. There is nothing in between. There's no such thing as having some sort of a peaceful coexistence with the US, with the Zionist apartheid state of Israel, or with the medieval dictatorships of Saudi Arabia and the Emirates. We have one country in this region that has a constitutional republic, and it's called the Islamic Republic of Iran. It's the one country that actually has a constitutional and a republican form where you have elections, where different parties and different views come and compete, and you have different governments coming to power. The US knows that if it attacks Iran, it will be the end of its presence in West Asia. This is the reason why they didn't attack Iran after Iran attacked the Ain al-Assad and the Erbil bases. So this is actually one of those things that is said a lot, especially in the West, but the reality is that actually an attack on Iran is something that would be to the strategic advantage of Iran, because it would then allow us to legitimately and legally attack all American interests in the region, which is ultimately what has to be done eventually to get the Americans out. The Americans are not going to leave on their own accord. The Americans leave places when their soldiers are taken out in coffins and body bags.